Brothers and sisters, as always, I opened before I started this ministry with calling of the Al-Fatiha, and I want to kind of explain why in life I always come and call the Al-Fatiha, as I told you yesterday in the ministry, in the ETIQUETTE, that it literally is the opening. That not only it was the opening for the gates for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who steadily prayed for both the forgiveness, the guidance, and the direction of all those who followed him, all those who took him as their, not only as their imam, but also as their sharifa. And I'm going to explain to you what those two things are. An imam is a leader, a spiritual leader. It's one that directs you. It's one that guides you within the path that you are taking. And a sharifa is one who enforces the laws, the rules, and the regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within that path. What one comes to understand about any of the prophets that's come in the past, and also the prophet that's here now with you, the job of every prophet as given and obligated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that not only do you teach spiritual strength, not only do you teach spiritual strength in spreading his word and showing how the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is constantly in our life and deserves our attention. It is also the job of any sharifa or any prophet to also be the sharifa and to instruct and enforce the laws and regulations of the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the things you constantly keep hearing me talk about is the fact that I don't answer to the laws of men. I answer to the laws of God. I answer 100% to the laws of God and whatever comes with that. I put myself every day on a table of judgment in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, displayed in front of the world, literally displayed in front of the world. I display by the will of Allah and by the power of Allah, however he's doing it and however it's done. My life is an open book and displayed to everybody to show you the fact that even in the things that people would think are wrong, even in the statements that people would think are wrong, even in the opinions that people think I have, which isn't my opinion, it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's instructions in my heart. I show them where they are clarified and justified under the laws of Allah. And anybody that pays attention to my life, they will see how at every turn where anybody thinks that it's gonna go bad, Allah steps in and he shows his instructions, he shows his strength, he shows how he will take hold of any that take hold of him, and he literally will walk with you hand in hand and guide you to the path that is best right. He will guide you to the path that's best right. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clarify some things just to show y'all the understanding of how we create our tests. Allah creates the strength. We look to his law and we walk that path. Yesterday morning, I was walking and I declared yesterday morning in the will of Allah. I first declared in fullness to all three of the different paths that traveled on the path of Allah with me throughout my life. Both the affiliation with my brothers in the struggle, both in the affiliation with my brothers on the path of enlightenment, and also my brothers on the path of the Sirat al-Mustaqim. I solidified that through the words of Allah that he had instructed me yesterday. Not my words, not my understanding. Some of the things that were said, I don't even know where they came from, other than I know that they came from Allah. I know that. These are the ways that Allah shows me that he has chosen me. These are the ways that Allah has showed me that he has chosen to give his people an opportunity to serve him. See, you gotta understand something, right? And I want to clarify this. So I spent my life, the spirit of Willie Vinny, of nation, whatever you want to call it, that Allah put into my body at birth. Once I came into the understanding of what Islam was and took hold of it, I dedicated my life to always remembering every problem I have, every situation I get into, anything that needs direction, which pretty much was my whole life. I sought Allah first. I brought it to Allah's jurisdiction. I brought it to the understanding of what Allah can instruct me to do within His life. Because I knew that this was His life. I knew that this was His opportunity to do what He needed done so that I could enjoy and see the joy of doing what He needed done. And you know, it's hard. I will never sit here and tell anybody that that is an easy walk to walk. It's one of both faith and one of understanding that you won't always understand. See how that works? Understanding that you won't always understand. But that's what faith is. That's what faith is. That is what faith is. And I sit here before you as one of those that you know. One of those that you know. To every one of my brothers in each one of those walks of life, I am one of those that you know. How you doing? I'm blessed. I am one of those you know. You knew my faults. You knew my accomplishments. You knew my weaknesses. You knew my strengths. You knew that I could be compared to your very self. You knew I could be compared to your very self. And it's like, how did Nation make it through that? How did Nation make it from being lost just like us to becoming sincere and becoming truthful like we want to be? I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it at all. Nothing that you see now of me and the accomplishments that you may see came from me. See, this is the instructions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says, choose me, and I'll choose you. So, first thing I want to say is this. So, yesterday, by the will of Allah, I made a declaration. Before Juma, before any of that, I made a declaration. And now I'm gonna put that declaration out there in a way that y'all can understand that even though the message might have been heard, it's me sending the message out into the world where it's definitely affirmed. See, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the messenger in the last days. Peace and blessings be upon him. The messenger I'm speaking about is me. You have to understand something. I don't look for recognition of me being the messenger and prophet from anybody for a sense of pride, for a sense of ego, for a sense of self-accomplishment or praise. I seek the recognition so that those who need to learn the path of Allah will come to one who Allah is instructing and be taught so that they too can gain Jannah and also gain accomplishment, strength, and peace of mind in the world of the dunya. And like I said yesterday, yes, the way I do things and my approach and the way I speak, it might be brutal, it might be direct, sometimes it might be hurtful, but it's always truthful. See, that's the difference. Anybody knows one fact about the truth. It's never comfortable sometimes. It's never likable sometimes. And it dang sure is hard to accept sometimes when you live in a world that's constantly driven by the ability to misinstruct, miseducate, misinform, misdirect, and be devious, deceitful, just for the accomplishment of one's own self. It's hard to accept when something truthful comes. But this is the difference. All those other things that I just named, all those lower level debaucheries of lack of faith, lack of integrity, look at the difficulty. Look at the difficulty that those things bring into your life. Look into the difficulty of those things that it brings into your life. Obviously, that's a path of destruction because you're destroying yourself in just a life of stress, of agony, of pain, of depression, of self-doubt. You destroy yourself. You destroy yourself. How do you get it back? How do you regain that? And I said, that straight path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that straight path of belief, that straight path of faith, that straight path of understanding, that straight path that which will judge me will only be that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has instructed me to be judged by. What does that remove? It removes your cross. It literally removes your cross because you stop crossing the line of that which makes you pure. What is that? You stop crossing the line of integrity. You stop crossing the line of integrity. You stop living a lifestyle where it's like, you know what? See, I'm not doing this for you to sit there and think anything. I'm doing this because in my heart, between me and my Creator, I know what's right, I know what's wrong, and I won't break my integrity with Him. Remember, I always say this. It's not do what you want and harm none. It's do what you want in accordance with the will and laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you will not harm anyone. See, when you move in the instructions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, peace and blessings of Allah be upon you, my brother. When you move in the laws and instructions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have no choice. You have no choice but do the right thing. And I'm going to show you that sometimes the right thing look like the wrong thing until you're looking at it from the right way. See how that works? See, it's always going to look wrong if you're looking at it wrong. Put together a puzzle. When you're putting together a puzzle and you look at it, you're like, okay, well, you know, this piece doesn't look like it fits here. But let me turn the angle a little bit. Let me shift the piece a little bit. Oh, look, it fits. You see how that works? Life is technically something like a puzzle. You have to put together the picture. You have to put together the pieces that form the picture of a life in the service of Allah. You see, you got to take those pieces and start building the picture. Okay, yep, I see. I put a border. What's that border? That border literally puts you within the surroundings of Allah's protection in the middle. So now you're building the picture inward within those bounds instead of outward beyond those bounds. You know, a real good friend of mine and a great person, used to sit there and build puzzles. That's what they did. They sit there, they would build puzzles, and it'd be amazing how fast they could build them. But I used to always be so intrigued about the philosophy of the fact of them building the border of the puzzle first and how it relates in the message of see how Allah teaches you. He teaches you things in daily, regular situations. And it's like, all right, if you're looking at it from my standpoint, if you're looking at it with what is Allah trying to teach me in this, you're going to see a great lesson in everything. You're going to see a joy and a fulfillment in everything. So I used to sit there and watch them do the puzzles, and I'd be like, all right, you know, they're doing the border first, getting there, boom, and then they stop building the puzzle inward. They stop building the puzzle inward. And see, this is how we work on ourselves. This is how we work on ourselves. See, we want to build the outward border of faith so that we know what we're working inward for. So you build the border of faith with Allah. That's the faith, right? And then you build the picture of Allah within yourself. You build the faith of Allah within inside yourself. You start taking all them little pieces out of all Allah's teachings and out of all Allah's philosophies and out of all His theologies and out of the message of the messages and out of the instructions that you get out of life. And you start putting those pieces in. And what does it do? It builds the picture inside of you of what you are supposed to be seeing when you work in the path of Allah and this life ends going towards the next. You see, Allah teaches us in ways that we would never, ever, ever think is an instruction. We wouldn't even see something as simple as doing a puzzle as an instructive way for Allah to show us how we really need to build our life. Because even if we look at it as building the ummah, you get a support system around the ummah, which is the Quran, which is Allah, which is the angels, and which is the articles of faith. You see that? Boom, all four corners, cut in. It's the four truths of a path to Islam. It's the four truths of the path of Islam. Allah, the books, the prophets, articles of faith. So what does that leave you building in the middle? What does that leave you to build in the middle? In the middle, you build a life that is surrounded by those four things so that the inward picture produces that which gains the most happiness within the structure of Islam. So that fifth picture that you're seeing, what you're building in your life, is truth. It's the truth of submission. It's the truth of submission. See, those borders right there is that which restricts you from going beyond the bounds of what Allah has set as your restrictions. So the inward picture that you're building upon is the laws of Allah. You start understanding the do's and the don'ts and the laws of Allah. And then you start realizing after that, wait a second, I can do this, but Allah says don't do that. I can do this, but Allah says don't do that. I can do this, but Allah says don't do that. So what is Allah telling you? You can always find what Allah wants you to do and not do if you look within those four bars of faith. Allah is your level of faith. Allah is your level of faith. The books are your instructions on faith. The books are your instructions on faith. The messengers, the prophets, those things show you how far from Allah you can go. The bounds. And then you're fully enclosed by the articles of that faith. The articles of that faith. See how we just built the border that goes around the picture of our life in the service of Allah? You see how Allah teaches and instructs. So I go back to yesterday. Yesterday I made a declaration to the world as I called down that which was called the end of days. The end of days, the clock was starting. I'm not gonna sit here and act like what was said and done yesterday was not the actual facts of the truth that as of yesterday, the clock that decides the determination of when this world is over. I flip the switch by the will of Allah and what He has sent me here to do. We are on last day's countdown. Last day's countdown. That wasn't a joke. It wasn't me throwing it out there just because I wanted to sit there and scare everybody to death. It was to give you the reality call of one thing and one thing only. If you don't get right with Him now, don't expect to get right with Him when the day comes, because it's coming. See, we've heard in the past, oh, the end's coming, 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 the end's coming. And then we wait. And you see generation after generation after generation after generation after generation keep coming. Okay? See, that was what they were saying, that the end was coming. So now I'm going to tell you, the end is here. If life is a book, you're in the last chapter and there's only a few pages left. There's only a few pages left. Why do you think Allah chose a prophet for you that is direct, that sometimes is just, has no type of feeling and understanding, in the justifications of right and wrong. What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. I don't care how you feel about it, I don't care what I'm gonna tell you. You ain't right with yourself, you ain't right what you need to do with the law, I'm gonna put it out there. Why? Because the days of sitting there cuddling to what other people need to hear or worrying about somebody's feelings, them days are over, that wasn't working. Look at how many people are still lost on the path. Look at how many people that are saying that they're on the path and are lost. So everybody that's listening right now, everybody that can hear me right now, I think that what I'm about to say, you really need to sit there for a second and pay attention. I reset the clock yesterday by the will of Allah. What do I mean by reset the clock? I didn't reset the clock on the time of the end of the world, or the time of Armageddon, or the day of judgment. No, that was Allah's decree. He told me what I needed to say, what I needed to do to get that clock started, and to let the world be known that this is where we're at. That was Allah's will. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. See, I am the one that Allah works through. I am the one, and if you really want to know the truth, and I told this to somebody last night so y'all can understand what it is. I am not the man that you once knew, because that man is dead and gone. Allah called that man to him and put him in a service to him. Put him in a service to him. Left that spirit of him bow down before his throne like he did with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam during the Hijrah. And he brought back a purer form of that which once was attached to the form of the spirit of all the things that needed to be brought into creation. So when you hear me say, I'm not that person no more, and I don't care what he was attached to. I don't. I have still the understandings and the loves and the respects that I had then. I still love the same people. I still care about the same people. I still want to be helpful. I still am nation in the understanding of the fact that, yes, my personality and character is still me. My personality and character is still me. But my spirit is wed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as one. As one. My first loyalty, my first obligation, my first understanding, my first everything goes to Allah. I can't put nothing before him, because he took me to him, brought me before the throne, brought me before witnesses of the angels, and literally married myself to him. Married myself to him. My oath, my obligations, my vows are to him. And he will leave his mother and father, and they will become one body and one flesh. You think he was talking about a physical marriage on earth? He was talking about wedding yourself to the spirit of him. And you will become one body, one flesh, one mind, one will, one purpose. Now do you understand why I'm like, I don't care about the things here? And I told you guys this before in my ministry, and I'm going to use this term right now, and I'm going to say it. Why? Because my husband, and the reason why I say it like that, because what is a husband? If anybody understands anything about farming and cropping and things like that, that's called husbandry. It's called husbandry. What that means is that you're caring for something, you're growing something, you're bringing something into life. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you. You're bringing something into life through nurturing, through guiding, through instructing. She's beautiful. Through instructing and through teachings. You're putting it in the ground. You're watering it. You're putting the sticks to help it rise up. You're sitting there pruning it. You're sitting there making sure that there's no insects that's going to eat it up. You see how you protect these things? It's called husbandry. It says husbandry. So when you say that you're marrying yourself to Allah and you call him the husband, what you're really saying is that he is that which has planted you, which has made you grow, which has made you what you become. And why do you think the Apostle Paul, when he was speaking to Corinth, he literally said, Apollo, I take that back. I think it was the letter to Timothy. when he said that Apollos watered, he said Paul planted, Apollos watered, God made it grow. God made it grow. He just instructed you in husbandry. The seed that gets planted is through human understanding. We know that. The seed that gets planted is through human understanding. It's through human understanding. You sit there, the seeds plant. Oh man, you know what? I really think, man, I might need to live a life for Allah. I think I really might need to live a life for Allah. I think my life for Allah is definitely what I need to do. That's the seed. I need to find God. I need to find God. I need help. I need help. I need help. That's the seed that's planted. That's the seed that's planted. How people sit there every day like, man, you know what? Man, I gotta get right, bro. Even in the best of life, even in the best life you could live in this life, you still sit there and go, well, I tell you right now, I break down. I had a freaking breakdown this morning because this is a lonely path. This is a lonely path. And I don't like being alone. I don't like being alone. I know I got the angels with me. I know that I have Allah with me. I never doubt that. That's why when I break down, that's who I call. I know he's there. I know he's there. And I know he is the one that can bring the things into my life that I want and I need. I know he is. See, y'all gotta understand something. Just because I'm the prophet, just because I have powers that Allah has given me, you guys wanna know something? You wanna know one of the biggest curses of the powers that Allah gives me? And I'm just saying a curse as in the fact that, and I'm gonna say this right now, right? I'm gonna bring this out there because I know people look at certain things and I'm sick of them judging. But I need to clarify because as the Imam and as the Sharif, I have to clarify the things I do in my life so that you understand where the path is not being bent or straight. So I sit there and I take the time to explain to you why I do certain things. Smoking a cigar. We hear people often say to the fact that, you know what, it causes lung cancer, it causes this, it causes that, it can do this, it can do that. You're hurting your body, you're hurting your body, you're hurting your body, you're hurting your body. Okay? In a life where your body is frail, because your faith is frail, because the power and the energies of Allah are outside of you instead of inside of you, there's a lot of things that are harmful. There's a lot of things that are harmful. There's allergies that you would have. There's different things that could, destroy you internally and externally. When you're giving your life to Allah, and Allah's really taking over your body and giving you the originality that you had in the garden, your cells don't die, your organs don't break down, you don't get sick. You guys don't remember that that's what he said was going to happen? Revelations chapter 21, verse 4. And he will wipe out every tear from their eyes, and death will be no more, neither will mourning nor outcry, for pain has passed away. And he will wipe out every tear from their eyes, and death will be no more, neither mourning nor outcries, for pain has passed away. Why do I smoke cigars? Because my body belongs to Allah, and there's nothing really that can hurt me. I light a cigar, I like the smell of it. The angels like the smell of it, bro. Feast to be Allah. It's for the pleasure of Allah. Now remember, I always say I seek the protection of Allah in all I do so that it may be for His glory. What part of life don't y'all get in that, bro? I live my life in the service of Allah. Everything I do. I have turned every single action in my life through verbal contracts and spiritual contracts into that which belongs to Allah. Who you think gave you tobacco? We just talked about husbandry. Who do you think gave you the ability to raise the first tobacco plants, fields, so that you could have cigars? See, the reason why Allah prohibits alcohol, why He made that the prohibition, I'm going to show you. If you look in the history of all the times that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set the prohibitions for what you can and you couldn't do through the different prophets, it was because of the times. It was because of the times that they lived in. and what was most relevant in those times. Alcohol causes the most deaths, it causes the most debaucheries, it causes the most lack of understanding. Why do you think the government, the first thing that they did was when they decided that they wanted to take a prohibition off of something, they took a prohibition off of the one thing that they knew was the easiest to access and the most destructive. What do you think this was? I say this all the time, and I told somebody this last night, and I want somebody to understand it. And when I say this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're not gonna like it, but I'm gonna tell you the truth of it. Everybody be like, yo, who really is he? I had to show somebody last night who I was for real, and I don't think they liked it, bro, because I say this all the time, and I'm gonna say this as the prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and understanding that Allah does have a personality, and he has two sides. See, this is what you guys don't understand about all the prophets that came before me. See, every other prophet that came before me came with the higher qualities of Allah and just the higher qualities of Allah. Peace, truth, understanding, compassion, all that. Yeah, of course he did. I have those things, and that's true. But you really want to know at the end of the day why I'm the last prophet and what spirit Allah married me with for real? It's his spirit, it's his quality, but I'm going to tell y'all the truth. And maybe now y'all understand why I do what I do the way that I do it. Everybody thinks Lucifer's so bad. Oh, he's the bad guy. He's the bad guy. He's the bad guy. Do you think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created anything that was bad? If he created it for a purpose. What do you think tested Adam and Eve in the garden? How do you know you can trust somebody if you can't test them? Allah told Adam he gave him free will. And the crazy thing is what Adam did wasn't even a sin. It wasn't even a sin. See, this is what you have to understand about the tester. This is what you have to understand about the tester. And I know everyone's like, la, I can't believe you just said that. Bro, listen, bro. I'm gonna tell y'all something point blank, period. And this is the whole thing why I always say I don't care. So yet now I'm being myself. You see that? Because Allah tells me when I can take that coat of caring about how you feel off. So I'm gonna tell you right now some real stuff, brother. Some real stuff, brother. Why do you think we're here? What did Allah tell you? Do you not think that I gave you the things in this world, your children, your professions, and all the things that you can gain as a test to see which one of you would be the best for me? What, you didn't think that the last prophet wouldn't be the tester? You have all the instructions you need. You have all the guidance you needed. You've had everything you've needed on this earth since day one of the first prophet. The first prophet. The first prophet that was ever sent to you was sent to you in a form of perfection. Adam. What pot don't you get? Yes, I am the light bearer. Lucifer, son of the morning. The morning of what? I just told you we're at the end of the world. It's at the new dawn, brother. This is the golden dawn. And I am that which will usher the new world in. Take it or leave it, I don't care. Because my job is to leave y'all behind if you ain't worthy. By the will of Allah. Because you know the difference between what you judge me as and what I really am? I don't use my powers for my own personal benefit. I could trick the hell out of any of y'all anytime I wanted to. I could hypnotize any of y'all anytime I wanted to. I could call the angels down by the will of Allah anytime I wanted to. You don't see me running around in these streets with all the power I hold within myself, using it for my own personal gain. That's the difference between me and y'all. I have it all, and I use it still to try to save y'all dumbasses. I made it. The person you knew as nation, I made it. The first SADIQ, I made it. I prayed myself into Jannah. I followed the Siratul Mustaqim into Jannah. I obtained that which you were working for. And since I chose Allah, Allah chose me. He let me keep my personality. He let me keep my character. He let me keep who I was. The only thing he severed from me is my ties to family and anything else. He is my family. He's all I got. what everything I needed. So this is the whole thing. Which part don't you understand? That because I chose Allah chose me. He gave me an opportunity to go into Jannah. He gave me an opportunity to go into Jannah. I chose to come back and help you. I chose to come back and help you. I spent years in jail, years on the block, in and out of trap houses, up and down streets that I used to sit there and look at all the time, like, damn, look at all these lost souls and people that I never have hope because don't nobody want to come down here and help them because they just think they're so lower than them. I walk around with people all the time that have the worst freaking judgments of everybody else and they go in the freaking house, look in the mirror and can't stand who the fuck they are. Y'all forget at the end of the day, this is me, bruh. If I came out here and I wasn't acting like myself, you would never believe that it was still me, right? You're just seeing a lot of difference in the way I move, bro. I am that which I was, combined with that which I am, which is that which always was. Do the math. Let's get this straight. The spirit of what we call the son of the morning, you remember? There was 2 trees in the garden. See, what is a tree? A tree is something that comes from something planted that grows into something that can produce something else. There was 2 sides to the knowledge in the garden. 2 sides to the knowledge in the garden. There was the knowledge that would lead to everlasting life, which is following the path of Allah. Following the path of Allah, doing the right thing. The path given to you by Allah through the Archangel Jibril, right? Right here, my man's. He passed the message to Adam of all the things that Adam needed to do that would lead to eternal life. Of course he did. Of course he did. Michael, the Archangel Michael. He's always been the judge. He's always been the one that at the end of the day, if something was gonna go down, bro, he's the one that came and put that work in. He's the one that put that work in. So I'm gonna tell you right now what the word Lucifer really means so that you guys can understand that everything that you looked at was wrong, brother. And God said, let there be light. And God said, let there be light. What the hell do you think he was talking about? What do you think he made me for? I am the light of the world. I am the light that brings you to the reality of how easy it is for you to slip from the service of God into a lower form. I've never told anybody to do something wrong. I've only told you what was wrong, and you decided to make the choice to just run with it. Don't blame me. Don't you know in the Quran it says, you guys didn't read it from where it says, that on the last day, in the day of judgment, Allah will call forth that who you call Satan, he'll call him forth, and he'll be like, did you mislead these people? And what did the reply in the Quran say? He said, I had no power over them to make them do anything. I don't have power. My power comes from Allah just like anything you do. He just may be the master of one who can tell you what's right or wrong. See, this is the difference you don't understand about me and you. I told you what was wrong so you wouldn't do it. God told you in your heart what was right so you would understand it. Instead, you would rather go for that which you see than the belief in your heart of that which you don't. What's wrong with you? Why would you ever drive yourself to a point to where you would want to do the thing that you know you're going to feel guilty for? which is what? Betraying Allah. Betraying Allah. Once you walk out of the path of Allah, you've betrayed him. You've betrayed him. You cannot sit there and never tell me that I did what was wrong because it was God told me to do it. God don't tell you to do what's wrong. Well, he wouldn't have let me do it if it was wrong. Listen, bro. Free will. Free will. Do you know what makes our will free? You know what free will really is? It's the ability to live a life in the instructions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so that you're free from guilt. Free will. Do what you will free of guilt under the universal law and instructions of that which was governed to you by the universe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The God by whatever name you call him, but just know that there is only one God. That's sovereignty. Because at that point in time, fear not he who judges the body, but he who judges the flesh. Fear not he who judges the body, but he who judges the flesh. My law is not the law of man. My law is the law of God, which I've come to instruct you so that I can live in the world of man according to the things that will bring peace and security to everybody. See, in this world, we have what's called the Constitution. One of the biggest things I constantly hear people talk about is, oh, it's the First Amendment right, the freedom of speech. Okay, you're right. You are free to have speech. But what do you do with it? Do you use that speech to mislead, misdirect, misguide, manipulate? Is that what you're using it for? Is that what you're using it for? Because if that's what you're using it for, what is the Constitution in that? See, I was taught that the word Constitution is that which gives your integrity strength. That's a Constitution. It's to move in a mannerism and to have a sense of fortitude. A sense of fortitude on the things that you stand on that you believe are just. You get that? Because if you don't have the right temperament, you're never gonna move the way that you need to. You're never gonna move the way that you need to. And just like I said, you have the ability to have what? To have what? You have the ability to have the freedom of speech, but you're supposed to have the Constitution to have the mind state to be prudent with what the freak you say. You get it? You get it? See, if you don't stand upon the foundation of that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or God, or the universal high supreme architect of all judgment gives you, you will never understand what it truly means in this world that is built to be one who is level on all aspects of faith. See, this is what you have to understand. That which brings light into this world, that which brings light in this world is the instruction of the things that you was once ignorant about. So yeah, you're right. He gave me that power. He gave me that spirit. I am who I am. But what man doesn't understand, see, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world it didn't exist. Do you remember that saying? See, last night I had to explain to somebody what that really meant. You guys call me the devil. You guys call me the devil. Oh, Lucifer, he's the devil. You call me the devil. How am I the devil? It was the devils of this world that wanted to make the things that are right wrong, that turned around and decided that they wanted to have an excuse. So they blamed me. So they convinced everybody that I didn't exist because I was the bad guy and that what they were doing was right, and they're right to do it. And they're right to do it. Hold on a second, brothers. And doing that, what it comes to is this. See, the reason why they have the law, why they have what's called Social Security in this world of the lower self, is because the person that doesn't have the full understanding of what it means to be under universal law needs somebody to govern it, needs somebody to hold them responsible. You all right, brother? No, I just didn't know because, obviously I live there. You know that I'm the prophet, not just about preaching, so I was just making sure that everything was all right in the neighborhood. I didn't know.
Just the next door, I guess they won't call because I guess someone stole their bike. They want to make a report, so.
Somebody stole. What type of bikes was it?
I have no idea. I'm trying. I don't think like IBN lives here.
No, I just know my neighbors from them going up and down the street, so I just.
Yeah, I was trying to get contact with them. No one came out, so I'm about to leave now. So I can.
All right.
Call me back later.
Yeah, no, I was just like I said, I just wanted to see what was going on. But
Yeah.
All right.
I guess someone might steal some bikes, but I just wanted to report it. So.
All right. Well, peace and blessings of Allah be upon you, my brother. Be good. So, at the end of the day, y'all have to understand something. See, the reason why the law is so hard on you is because you don't have law to govern yourself. Remember I said at the beginning of this, I came for both being the imam and the SADIQ. What do you think I'm trying to teach you? First, I'm trying to teach you how to stand with God so that you can live a life free of having to worry about what you're doing and not doing. Anybody that ever sees me driving around in my car, you see me driving around in my car, I drive around in my car with no plates on my car. You know what my plates are? These are my plates, brother. Right here. I have the Holy Quran sitting on the side of my seat so that I can sit there and open up the book and literally I can show you in here why I can drive. I can show you in here why I can drive. I can show you in here why I can drive. These scriptures, right? These scriptures will protect you in everything you do in your life. This is your justifier. This is your justifier. It tells me in this book that things were given to me that literally melted metal poured over that which is in the belly, the speeds that it travels, all these things. It tells me in there so that I can go back and forth throughout creation and see what he has provided for me. I don't need plates. I don't need a license. My license comes from God, and my place is the fact that I paid for that vehicle. See, I'm not under universal law. I'm not under man's law. I'm under universal law. That is my blanket of protection. You know why? See, this is the thing. I keep telling y'all this. This is the thing about being under universal law. See, you go to court out here, they throw you in jail for a couple of years. That's that. They give you a fine, your pocket gets hurt. That's that. You can go back and there's a reset. When you take on universal law and universal court of God, there is no reset. There is no appeals. There is no, you know what? Oh, I didn't know that. No, it's none of that, brother. You break the laws of God once you've come under universal law, and he will forget the book, bro. He will drop the earth on you. So when you want to sit there, start claiming that you're sovereign, you better make sure the fact that the sovereign is really with you, and that's really who you're following. Because if you're doing it for your own selfish means and your own selfish desires, and just so you can run around the land in anarchy and just be lawless, God gonna smack you so far off this earth, bro, that you won't even know where you landed. That's the difference. See, I say what I say because I stand on that I'm allowing God to judge me for everything I do. And I'm willing to take whatever comes with it because I don't have faith, I have belief. I've seen it. I know what it's like to walk in the presence of God and literally have to bow down and get judged. I've seen it. And I'm trying to show you how when you get there, to be as right as rain as I was. See, that's what you don't get. That's what you don't get. Yeah, I drive my cars with no plates. Yeah. You know what? Y'all won't even understand this problem. And it's one of those things that I don't even think you want to invoke if you did. I don't even think you want to invoke it if you did. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. I'm going to show you something. How's he driving around with no plates? So listen to this. These two, the believers and the disbelievers. So right there, I'm going to tell you one thing right there so you understand what that means. It's talking about in a duality. So those who believe, they can have these rights. Those who are disbelievers, they can't. But it's also talking about something in a vehicle. It's also talking about something in a vehicle. See, you have your disbelievers and your bi-levers. See, the things that allow you to travel and the things that allow you to disembark. So that which you disembark from and that which you become, which you can live in, believing. It goes into this, brother. It says, our two adversaries who dispute about their Lord. So now we have this, now we have this argument right here, right? Who's their Lord? I, self-Lord and Master, brother. I've joined myself and wedded myself with the Creator by His guidance and blessing. I don't have to debate about my Lord. I came here to show y'all how to find Him. See, I told y'all yesterday, you have a God and then you have a Lord. God's Allah. I came here to be the Lord of this kingdom, brother. Through His guidance, through His direction. I didn't gain my kingship because I took over anything. I gained my kingship because I submitted to the thing that took over me that owned it anyway. God owns this earth. He just chose and appointed who He wanted to, that He knew was the walking illustration of the book. We go on to say here, and for those who disbelieve, garments of fire have been tailored for them, and boiling water shall pour down over their heads. See, for those who disbelieve, it's just a garment. They're in their car, but they gotta have a license for it. See, it was tailored. That was the way that they can move in it was tailored. You don't get that? Where does your plate go in your car? Right next to your taillights, right? See how that works? What is it talking about when it says that for those who disbelieve, garments of fire have been tailored for them, and boiling water shall be poured down over their heads? Bro, it's telling you all over there, bro. How does metal get made? They put the metal inside of boiling stuff, then they pour it and they craft it and they shape it and then they form it. And it says, water shall be poured down over their heads, whereby whatever is in their bellies will be melted. Did I not just tell you that they melted, that they melted it? And their skins as well will come off their bones. See, when you get into a vehicle, that becomes your skin. Your skin literally just came off your bones. And furthermore, there will be whips of iron for punishing them. Yo, you know what's so funny? Y'all think that God don't know our ebonics? You think God don't know the way that we talk? What do you call a car, brother? I'm just about to go hop in my whip, right? I'm about to just go hop in my whip, right? What is a punishment? A punishment is literally the accomplishment of one's action. They're like, no, that's an accomplishment. No. See, once you accomplish an action, if it's in the wrong path, it's your punishment. If it's in the right path, it's an advancement. But it's still, the punishment is the accomplishment of an action. But when you step on the gas of your car, what do they call that? Oh, I'm punching it. I'm punching it. You stop flying down the highway, right? What do you say? Man, bro, I've been punishing that car, bro. That thing be moving. That would be moving. You put your physical self inside the belly of that car, don't you? And furthermore, every time they seek to escape from in their anguish. So, they will be hurled back into it, and it will be said to them, keep on suffering the torment of burning. So now I'm going to show you where the duality in that, which that was, because see, what this scripture really is right here, it's not just about me driving a car. It's my license to walk through life as God's servant and only God's servant under universal law. Remember what I told you? I take upon the freedom of being able to live in a world where I can do what I want to do within the will of God. But understanding that I am taking on the judgment of a fiery punishment if I step outside of my bounds, brother. If I step outside of my bounds, this is my warning right here. Do as you want and according to the law of God, and you will harm none. But harm one, I'm knocking you out this mother. It's all right here, bro. This is my Constitution and my Declaration of Independence, brother. I declare my independence under God. This is all I need, brother. This is all I need. And if a person doesn't understand the Quran, I go and do the Bible. I grab the Bible and do the same exact thing by the guidance and directions and the will of Allah. Because it says here next, it says, as for those who believe and do righteous deeds, so see it brought up the disbeliever first. See, the brought up the disbeliever. It showed how the disbeliever is restricted to having to have a license. He's restricted to having to pay taxes. He's restricted to having to sit there and be governed by the law of the land. It just showed you because they're lawless, they're disbelievers. They haven't pulled the lever yet. As for those who believe and do righteous deeds, Allah will admit them to God and serve with running streams to keep them green and flourishing. Keep them green and flourishing. Running streams. Bro, when you're in your whip, when you're in your car, what makes your car go? Gasoline, oil, brake fluid, all going through lines of running streams. They're pumped from a central place, running streams, to keep them green and flourishing. Why? So that I can go throughout the earth and the world and I can see that which my Creator has given me and take of the things in this earth so that I can provide for my family, for my neighborhood, for my friends, for my community, and do all the things that I need to do. This is my right to do what I need to do right here. Therein they shall be given ornaments, bracelets of gold and pearl. Therein their raiment should be of silk. Therein their raiment should be of silk. Bro. Therein they shall be given ornaments, bracelets of gold and pearls. And therein their raiment shall be silk. Why do they say silk? Because silk is looked at as something precious, something that is worth a lot. But the silk in itself, I'm going to show you where this applies to what my direction is for y'all. I am that silk. I am that covering for you. As your prophet, I am that which will cover you if you follow the path. See, silk in itself is describing that which is of a higher level of royalty. It's living where your sovereign intellect is your law. That in itself gives you kingship. That in itself gives you kingship. I'm a sovereign king under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am the sovereign king under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I need not answer to man. I answer to that which destroys the soul. And I was brought to this world to usher in the truth of one thing and one thing only. Who stays and who goes? Who stays and who goes? See, that's what you guys have to understand. I just wanted to clarify for y'all how I'm able to do the things I do and why I do it, so that we don't have to have any arguments in the future if you see me doing it. See, it's not illegal for me to travel with my body how I want to. Once I get into a vehicle, my body becomes the vehicle. The vehicle doesn't become the body. My body is extended to the vehicle. So the rights of the body is extended to the vehicle. The rights of the body is extended to the vehicle. What does that mean? I'm still walking. I'm just walking behind the wheel. I've still got to guide and direct myself. I still got to obey the rules of the road. I still got to obey the speed limits. I still got to take right-hand turns where I can take them and don't take them where I can't take them. It doesn't give me the right to take a machine or take something that can hurt somebody and just run through the world and do whatever I want in it. No, but it gives me the ability to transport and convey. See, that's the thing. You guys are still looking at it as an automobile. You guys are still looking at it as a vehicle. You guys are looking at it all that. I don't look at it as that. I don't have a vehicle. I have a conveyance. I am conveying myself to and fro throughout the earth from one point to the next. That's what I do. I'm just conveying. The same way that I'm coming here and conveying the message to you is the same way I convey my body from one point to the next point for the will of God. See how that works? If I break one of the rules of the road, if I break one of the rules of the road, if I break one of the rules of the land, can the peacekeepers and the officers of the law, can they stop me from doing it? That's what their job is. That's what their job is. Their job is to be like, hey, you know what, brother? Such and such, such and such. You were just going down a street that was 35 and 40 miles per hour. I wanted to stop and let you know that that's not what you're supposed to be doing. See, and then I might have to pay an earthly penalty, pay some money for speeding, because I was just in a rush to go do something. See, when I say that I am above the law of man, it does not mean the fact that I do not respect the law. It means that I respect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more and I live according to his law. Does it mean I'm perfect? No. Well, technically I take that back. I can't say that anymore. Yes, I am perfect. I am perfectly in one with the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he brought me back perfect. And I have not depreciated my value yet by entering into the guilt of sin. I don't doubt what I do because I go to God first. And then I know God lives in me, so I don't have to think about it. So whatever I do, I'm doing it in the will of Allah. So yes, I am perfect. So now it takes me to the point of what I was going to say. Yesterday, I started the clock to the end of the world, but I resetted the clock for everyone. As far as what you're accountable for. Anything you did before yesterday, I wiped out the money. I completely slotted it under the will of Allah because we knew that this was the last days. And then I gave you the instructions of what you're supposed to do and not do. And I said, brother, you can do whatever you want within the will of God. You seek him first. I called you to the call of Allah so that I could teach you how to live in this world, searching for the next, in a way and on a path that is best residual for that which you were trying to earn. Your ticket into paradise. Your ticket into everlasting life. And I know everybody's probably sitting there like, SADIQ, who are you to sit there and say you restarted the clock on sin? Did you not hear what I just said at the beginning of this? Assalamu alaikum, brother. May peace and blessings of Allah be upon you. I'm going to tell you, you didn't hear what I said at the beginning of this talk when I told you who I was? I am the one that gave you the ability to bring sin into this world. So of course I have the right under the guardianship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reset your clock. All I did is say to God, you know what, I threw a lot of stuff out there. I don't think they understood it last time. I know that this is the end. Can we just get a reset? Let the people that are here now have a reset. And you guys think that's so impossible to do? You guys don't realize that every day in this world, perfect people are born, right? Perfect people are born every day in this world. A child, when it comes to this world, is completely perfect. Completely perfect. Why do you think you say everything the child does is in innocence? What I did yesterday is I just took a bunch of grown people and I took you back to your infancy. I took you back to square one, where now it is your job to learn, just like a baby, what to do is right. Why do you think Jesus said, unless you become like these babes, you will not enter into the kingdom of heaven? Oh. Ding, 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 ding. I took you guys back to infancy. And then, as the one that your father, your creator, has appointed for you, as both your king, your father, your imam, your sharif, I went and did a Juma in the middle of a park and called everybody to me so that they could hear the word. So that they could hear the word. So that you would know what you needed to do from this point on. Do you guys think I sit here and I do this for my own self-benefit? I don't. I do this so that the thing that benefited me can be passed to you. God gave me a legacy and I'm sharing it with you. So this is the truth, brother. The actions that we do sometimes produce guilt in us because we don't know if we're doing the right thing. Why do you think the first 3 things I ever taught you when we started walking on this path, before we got to the day that I knew we was coming to, which was yesterday, I gave you 3 pieces of instruction of how to bring Allah into your life on a point where he will be your closest friend. I said the first thing you do every day and whenever you can remember doing it in the day, I said, I seek the protection of Allah in all I do so that it may be that which gives him glory. You just took your selfishness from you. You just took your selfishness from you. You turned yourself back into himself. Him and self. Himself. Him being God, self being body, himself. As one. Brand new. Secondly, what did I say to you? What did I say to you for the second part? Secondly, what I told you, it was this. I said, build a relationship with God, even if it's taking a meal with him. Taking a meal with him. See, what y'all don't realize is that a lot of y'all take a meal with God and you just don't bring him to the table. I don't know too many people that don't sit at a table and they say grace before they eat. I don't know too many people that don't sit at a table and say grace before they eat. Of course you say grace. Why do you think you're saying grace? You're saying grace for two reasons. The angels that are with everybody, so you had a congregation of angels around you because everybody that walks and everybody that was born into this world has two angels with them that write down your good deeds, write down your bad deeds. So you're praying for the grace that God gave you, a perfect record, so that he can judge you perfectly. You're bringing them to the table, grace. And then you're sitting there and you're saying grace because you're asking for, you're giving thanks for the meal that you're about to take, for the provisions that God gave you. But most of all, that grace is inviting God to the table. You sit at the table and you ask everybody at the table how their day was. How was your day? How was your day? What'd you do today? What'd you do today? Does anybody ever stop and ask God how his day was? Does anybody sit there and think that God is at the table? God, how was your day? Now, I guarantee you don't want to hear what God's day was like. They'd be like, man, listen, I have a bunch of children that don't know how to act. They always breaking shit they don't belong breaking. They stealing things they ain't supposed to be stealing. They turn around and lie to me about shit that they know I already know about. Right? You little bad people, I want to just bust all their asses. I got to sit back and hold my strength back. You know, I work all day long. I pay the bills. I make sure the lights stay on. I make sure they got food in their belly. Ooh, does that sound like somebody? Yeah, you don't want to hear God's conversation at the table. The last thing he's gonna say to you is, you wanna know how my day was? It was goddamn disappointing. I got a couple billion kids and maybe only 200,000 of them know how to act. You see? Or how do you think the flip side of it would be if you said to God, God, how do you think my day was? Okay, what'd you do today? I mean, I went to work. You did? All right. When you went to work, did you go to work for me or did you go to work for your paycheck? I went to work for my paycheck. Your day sucked. Okay, so, what else you do today? I mean, I went to this restaurant, man, the food was bomb. I'm telling you, it was the best food I ever had. Was? Yeah. Where'd you get the food from? I got it from Benihana's. Who made the food? Some chef I never seen before. Where'd the food come from? I told you, Benihana's. Oh, really? Yeah, your day sucked. You see what I'm getting at? All the things you think you're getting from somewhere else, you don't give the respect to where it really came from. You don't give the respect to where it really came from. You don't appreciate who really it is. Why? Why don't you give that which belongs to him to him? Even Jesus, when he was on this earth, he showed them a Roman denarii, and he said, who does this belong to? Who does this belong to? Who is on the back of this? And they said, Caesar. He said, okay, give Caesar's things to Caesar and God things to God. Your life belongs to God. Your life belongs to God. Point blank, period, that's it. Point blank, period, that's it. Nothing else. Nothing else. So that means everything you do in your life, you do for God. You constantly sit there and want to remember that in this life, your responsibility is to that which created you first. Like I said, I resetted the clock. I resetted the clock because it was the right thing to do in this situation, according to the directions in my heart, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because I think a lot of y'all didn't know the truth. I think a lot of y'all was misguided and misdirected and would have done the right thing had you have known it was the right thing to do. I really believe that there is a lot more goodness in people than what the human eye sees. See, this is the thing you have to understand about the balance inside myself. I get angry because I get righteous anger in the eyes of God and through the force of God. So I see people as very, 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 very grimy, disgusting, unappreciative people. I can see into the house of man. But I see that that was not their purpose, because in the remembrance of the time when I was human, when I had a complete human spirit that was not bonded with anything other than my own selfish wants and desires and needs, I can relate. I can relate. Why do you think it had to be one of you? Why do you think I had to be one of you? I can relate. I can relate. But I can also relate to how to get to where you need to be. I can show you the way because I had to walk it. That's why he chose somebody who was 100% one of your own. What's wrong and right is this, brother. What's wrong is that which goes against the will of God. What's right is that which walks that path to him. So, I'm gonna throw one other thing out there real quick just to show you how things get tested. So, I got a friend of mine, well, a person that was supposed to be a friend of mine, but in my past, they were a very, very, very selfish, manipulative, destructive, gossip-bound, backbiting, backstabbing individual. But I understand the holds of addiction. I understand the holds of a broken heart. I understand the holds of loneliness. I understand the holds of being blind. I understand the holds of not knowing which way to go and what decisions to make. You guys want to know what gives me the ability to judge people? You really want to know what gives me the right to judge people? I'm going to tell you, because Jesus said it and so did Muhammad. Judge not lest you want to be judged first. I already went through my judgment. I've already been judged and declared innocent. I've already been judged and declared innocent. See, I removed the rafter from my eye so I could take the splinter out of yours. God removed the rafter from my eye so I could take the splinter out of yours. That's why. And that's how. It's that simple. It's that simple. So it gives me the ability to judge. It gives me the ability to judge. I'm Sharif. I am Sharif. What part don't you get? What part of I am the light do you not get? Do you not hear me constantly say, I am the light and I am the way? I am the light and I am the way. I am the light because the light of the Lord shines in me. And because it's in me, it shines outwardly in all I do for the glory of God. So this person put me in a situation where the world wanted to test if what I say is actual fact. And as the situation played out and they decided that they was going to use their deceptive ways and their different aspects of how to do things and think that it would draw sin. Oh yeah, watch this. There's the prophet, watch this. Watch what he's going to do, watch what he's going to do. I trapped them in their own trap using the word of God, the logic of universal law, the laws of God and contracts. And they kept showing them over and over again that if they had the ability to make the right decision and just go do the right thing, that they would still keep picking that which best serves their own selfish desires and what the penalty is for doing. And then when I finally gave them the choice of keeping that refreshment that I had given yesterday as far as a clean slate, they still picked sin. They still dropped themselves to the level of being a sinner. And I told everybody yesterday, I'm only giving 3 sins, brother. 3 strikes out. 3 strikes out, just like the world. They chose their path. That's not my fault. I even sat there and told them who I was before I kept tempting them. I even told them who I was before I kept tempting them. Whispered in their ear and even told them out loud. I'm the tester. I am Lucifer. I am he which will lead you to what you want to do most. I am him who will lead you to what you want to do most. Meaning the fact if you want to serve God most, I'm going to lead you there. Because I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you what things you don't want to fall into, what traps there are laid for you, and how to avoid them. If you want to serve yourself more, I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm not the bad guy. Y'all are making bad decisions. I serve God no matter what, bro. I was created by the Father for one purpose and one purpose only, to serve him in showing the truth of free will. Showing the truth of free will under the guardianship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's laws. I am that which stands above that which you stand under. And for those that will understand what I say right now, you will completely get me. I am that which lays things straight. In the larger God, I'm the closest thing you'll ever see to a living rebel. I am the builder that was sent by Allah to build the lodge of Allah in this earth that was not built by human hands. I came to help you shape your mind so that it can accept the presence of God. I came to show you how to build your life so that it can embrace the presence of God. I am the high supreme master builder of Allah. I am that which has shown this world what it truly means to encircle the truth. To build, you need tools. I am the living manifestation of those tools. Through the glory, through the praise, through the direction, and the will of Allah. I do not do my own will, I do the will of He who sent me. I don't look for anything but for those to bow down to God. I only want for those to bow down to God, to seek God first. And I'm sorry, people, I'm the closest thing you got to understanding Him. Are you really going to turn away from God because He sent Himself to you in somebody that is just like you? Are you really going to turn from God because He sent you somebody that you could relate to? Are you really going to say, I'm not going to serve God because the message is coming from somebody that used to do dirt just like me? Well, that sounds pretty stupid, because I don't know anybody that wants to go to a marriage counselor that's never been married. I don't know anybody that wants to take advice on somebody how to raise children that don't have kids. And I don't know anybody that wants to take direction on how to do the right thing that ain't ever sinned. I am your best bet. Not because I stamped me, but because Allah authenticated Himself in me. You want to learn how to do the right thing? Instead of driving by all the time judging if it's really me, why don't you stop and ask a question? Instead of sitting there trying to figure out what the hell's going on and how am I doing what I'm doing, why don't you just put faith in God and understand that in the last days, He had to figure out a way that everybody is going to get warned, so that can't nobody on the day of judgment say, I didn't hear the message. You think this is a gimmick? This ain't a gimmick. This is God's way of saying, bro, checklist, that's your ass. I don't care either way. You're not going to tell me you didn't hear it. I made sure that every knee that could kneel would kneel. And if they didn't want to, it was their choice. That's why I come outside and speak the message so that those that need to hear can hear. That's why me even knowing the fact that my life is being publicized by however the hell it's being done, I still do me according to the wills of Allah and show you the fact that even in doing me, I'm doing Him. Because He is me. He is one inside of my soul. I birthed myself to this world through my faith, and He brought me back up to Him. Literally, I birthed myself to this world through my faith. Meaning the fact that I came into this world in imperfection, or in the temptations of imperfection. I was born perfect, just like everybody was. I was born perfect. I walked the path. I chose imperfection. And I defeated it through the faith of Allah, which rebirthed me to the man you see before you. The higher conscious intellectual. The higher conscious intellectual. That means that my consciousness, my intellect, is that which was higher than myself. I gave over my mind and my heart to God. He is my guardian. He is my God. He is my judge. He is my book. He is my constitution. He is my declaration. He is my everything. The same thing goes for you. The only difference is I know it. I believe it. You guys are still sitting there straddling the fence. One of your One of your family members gets really sick. I see it all the time. One of your family members gets really sick. Next thing I know, y'all posting on Facebook, oh, please pray for him, please pray for him, please pray for him. Was you doing that when they weren't sick? Were you trying to congregate people for prayer when they weren't sick? Were you trying to congregate people for prayer when it wasn't for something that you wanted? Were you calling on God when it was something, just a regular day? Because if you weren't calling on them, that's I'm telling you what that is. That's straight freaking hypocrisy, brother. You're picking and choosing when you want the help of God. You're picking and choosing when you want to have faith. You're picking and choosing when to call somebody that's always there for you. But yeah, I'm only gonna call this person today because I need to borrow a couple of $100. I know they rich. I don't call them any other time, but you know what? Every time I need something, they pick up. So why don't you call them every other time? Why don't you just call them to say, you know what, bro, I appreciate all the times you did something for me and every time you do something for me. And I just wanted to check and see how you're doing today. I wanted to just check and see what's going on with you today. Because you know what? I know you help a lot of people, and it's probably true that doesn't anybody ever call to see how you doing. Probably nobody ever calls to just check on you. Do you check on God the same way he checks on you? See, in Congress, when they say that they're making a law, they say that they make a law within checks and balances, right? Which literally is a financial term. Where is your financial, economical worth in the relationship that you have between God and yourself? If you were to lay it on the table of administration, would it be checked and balanced? You sit there and you pay attention to your checkbook. You make sure you know how much money you got in the account, how much money you got to spend for your bills. You do all that. You account for yourself. You account for yourself, for your finances. Do you account for yourself in the finances of your spiritual worth? Do you account for yourself in the balances of the price of your soul? Because if you're not doing that, you can't take this money with you when you die, brother. I taught a lesson last night to somebody and then casted them back into the world as that which they chose to do. Why? Because that is the job of the judge. It is my job to set things straight. Whether it's setting it straight that you're going straight to judgment by the will of Allah, or setting things straight that you're going to Jannah. I told you, I am the way. I am the way. I am the way, not because I chose me, but because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose me. And this is the last time I'm going to say this, as far as this point. I've opened the door so that those who want to hear can hear. Literally meaning you can come to me. You can come to me. You can talk to me. If you don't know something, don't understand something, you want to know how to do things right, and you can't find it in yourself in the instructions of what I've given you, you can come to me. Why do you think the last thing I said out of the 3 things that I laid for you was to ask God a question every day and go to that book and see how he will answer you so it will build your faith? And then I go into the world and I show people how I keep the book with me, and every time I think I don't know what I'm gonna do, I open the book, whether it's opening the app on my phone or it's opening the book itself in front of me. Either way, I choose God first as my instructor, my guardian, and my judge. It's that simple. That is what you're supposed to do. That is the purpose of life. That is that which will give you the greatest advancements in this world and traveling into the next. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I call down the judgment upon those who are speaking disrespectfully and down in the presence of the angels, that you may judge them and you may give them that from which they keep asking. See, that's the thing, people. One thing that God does give me is a bunch of powers. Powers of using these angels is how I see fit for his purpose. See, I came here to judge. I came here to judge. And then you got fat, big mouth people that keep running their freaking mouth not realizing I will crush you without even touching you. I walk with God, and if you don't believe that God is real, I will show you. I'll have you get out of here just as quick as your sister did. Shut your fat ass mouth. You haven't heard that as many times as you call the police. Bitch, I'm above the law. Check yourself in the name of God. See, I told y'all, God sent a warrior this time. He sent a high commander to judge this time. He sent the one that he knew will break anything that stands in his way in the name of God. Play with me, I'll shut you down. This is the word of God. This is the way. The world deserves to know the fact that they were lost, and this is the final hour, but that a path has been straightened for them to find the way. I said yesterday, I don't disrespect women. I have the highest respect for women, but I don't like yapping little dogs. I don't like yapping little dogs. What does a dog do? It sits there, yap, 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 yap. Shut up. I am a man, and I'm not only a man, I am the man of God. I am the highest of men, because I walk with that which will instruct me, and that's which governs me. I am not governed by human beings, and I'm dang sure not governed by a woman. I know my position in the universal order of things. My job is to instruct them how to instruct the children, how to do what God wants them to do. I don't take orders from nobody, I take orders from God. Maybe if more people worried about minding their business between them and God, they'd have some business in life. Maybe if some people weren't so miserable, hating themselves because they know they ain't shit, they'd find a way in God to become something better. See, you find your value of self in God. You'll never find your value in self in thinking that you can find your own self-value. God determines your worth, and your worth is brought forward by how you serve Him. I told you, God sent one of your own. God sent one of your own. I'm just like you. I'm just better with God. You see that? I'm just like you, but I'm better with God. See, people be like, oh, you think you're better than me? I don't think I'm better than you. I know God's better than you, and I'm with God. That's what makes me better. I'm better with God. I have a better relationship with God. See, the same way I just said that a woman is supposed to obey her husband, y'all didn't get what I said a couple of weeks ago that the man has to obey and submit to God. I just told y'all at the beginning of this, I'm married to God. I'm married to God. God tells me what to do. If God says, SADIQ, sit down, shut the hell up, I'm not gonna be like, why are you talking to me like that? I'm gonna sit the hell down and shut up because I know he got something he really need to tell me. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna shut up because I know he got something he really need to tell me. I'm gonna take that instruction humbly and I'm gonna embrace it because I know that my husband loves me. I know that my God loves me, and he's not gonna tell me nothing wrong. He's gonna tell me that which will benefit me the most to enjoy the things that he's providing for me. Why would I ever wanna break that relationship up? Why would I ever wanna put something first before that relationship? I won't because I love the embracement of my King. I love the embracement of my God. And I love what he's given me. And I cherish what he's given me. I respect what he's given me. So I administer it in a way that other people can gain the same thing that want it. I bet if I was out here telling everybody how to get a free $1 million, the fat bitch wouldn't be running her mouth. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't disrespect nobody, but I call people on their own self-disrespect. You disrespect me, I'll shatter you, because you're not disrespecting a man, you're disrespecting God's word. And I will bring down the whole house up. I told everybody, I'm not here to save people. I'm here to help the good ones save themselves and destroy everybody else. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النافثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. I seek the protection of Allah in all I do, that it may be for His glory and that it may be done by His will. I am guided by nature because the nature of things is the nature of God, and I am protected by Him. That is what made me the divine ruler and God of nature, because I made myself one with that which created it. That's why the witches and the jinn, and the pagans and the polytheists, all the tricks that they try to send my way, that's why none of their magic works. I come from the source of where magic came from. I came from He who invented that magic. I brought those powers into the world by the instruction of my Father. And y'all always use them for your own little selfish gain. Oh, now I'm the bad guy because I came back and used the tricks against you? So that you can stop misleading God's people? See, what you don't understand about God's people, they're my brothers and sisters. Yes, I am who I am. I am Lucifer. In its purest form. But you know what that means? The children are mine because it is my job to show them the right way. Whether it's a child in the age or the innocence of heart. It is my job to teach the children. When God made Adam, He made Adam a full-grown man with the mind and the heart of a child, and He said, Lucifer, go show him the right way. Lucifer, go bring Adam the light of the day. Show him how that he may move in the night and in the day in accordance with me. And you know what I said? I said, I go with the guidance and directions and the will of Allah. And I went and did my job. I didn't tell Adam to do what he did. I told him that this is what you can do. And he said, okay, I'm gonna go run and do it. Brother, you went and did that. You knew what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to go ask God first. Okay, this is what Lucifer told me. He said, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yes, Adam, he's right. He's right. Go. I'm gone. There wouldn't have been no sin. He wouldn't have felt like he was shamed and naked for having sex with his wife. Yeah, she got pregnant. And because she got pregnant, outside of lawful marriage under the eyes of God, because he didn't ask permission, God said, okay, I'm gonna put enmity between your seed and my seed. There's gonna be a constant conflict now. You birthed imperfection into this world, I'm gonna let you see if you can raise it. I'm gonna let you see if you can correct it. See, everybody sits there and they read the story, they don't see it for what it really is because they're so stuck up in the apple and the fruit and all this other stuff that nobody sees it. See, I wasn't there. I got this instruction from God to teach you. I was not in the Garden of Eden as Nate or as nation, but I damn sure was there as Lucifer. Why do you think it was the snake that talked to Eve? Come on, people. Come on, people. You can't understand that he was talking about the man's penis? The whispers of seduction? The temptation of the fruit? Where y'all been, bro? Where y'all been all these years? Why do you think I've come into this world and I show y'all that there really is nothing wrong with sex? That there's really nothing wrong with wanting somebody, that there's really nothing wrong with enjoying yourself within the bounds of God, with inside of the picture of that puzzle. I showed you what the rules were. I explained the rules to you. What's lawful, what's not lawful. What needs to be protected and what's already given as yours. But then you're gonna keep judging and judging and judging it, knowing the fact that they do the same damn thing, but they do it without the glory of God in it. I'll tell you what, right? If I was to transfer some of my powers to almost any man on this earth right now and give them the power of seduction that can be easily used and certain things that can be whispered into the ear of a woman, I would be running around here like straight scumbuckets. Because you don't glorify God in what you're doing it to seek your own perverse pleasures. Take this as the message for the day and understand what I said in it, so that you may be guided to the light from which I was given to bring. I've put it out there, I'm sending it out there, but you want to come and you want to learn, you know how to find. And the other thing that I had to do this message for is because of the fact that, you know what, God put me in a test, and God made me test the fact of whether or not I would choose the things of this world over him, and I had to sacrifice a family and people I love. People I love. And God showed me a lot of bad things about them. Showed me a lot of bad things about them. And gave me the ability to make the decision if I was going to choose his word over somebody else's. And I took God on his word. See, God can paint the picture however he wants to paint it, and it's not a lie. It's anything that's a possibility can become true. And anything that was true stays true, but a lot can change that which is to that which he wants it to be. He is the God of everything and anything. How many times you've done something to somebody and forgot you did it because to you it really wasn't that important? They remember it, but you don't. You think that God can't do that? You think God can't do that? So my purpose of saying this is this. I forgive anything that was done. And if that guardianship is true, I said that I started everybody's clock over yesterday. I gave everybody a clean slate yesterday in the will of Allah. And I showed you that you did not have to enter into sin anymore. Follow the instructions of Allah. Follow the instructions of Allah. That's what you do. Follow the instructions of Allah. Let he who hath ears hear, and he who has a willing heart bow. For your Lord has called you to him, knowing that in the final days of judgment, there can be no discord, there can be no excuse. So I'm going to say something right now to those who know what I'm saying, that they will understand it. The only debate we should have right now is over who can best agree and what is right in the performance of those works. I called my brothers into the world yesterday so that we can help build what we said we was going to build. On all three platforms. My Muslim brothers, my brothers of the lodge, and my brothers in the street. Come and understand that your three kings is here. And I'm not here because I want to submit anybody to myself. My kingship is not so that I can break people down and just use people how I want to. My kingship is so that I can break your guilt down and show you how to submit to God so that you can live how you want. In my kingdom, there is only one law. And you know what's so funny that everybody's like, I keep calling myself a king. Did you guys not years ago say the fact that you were waiting for the second coming of Christ? Nobody said they were waiting for the second coming of Jesus. They said they were waiting for the second coming of Christ. Jesus and Christ are two different entities. Jesus was the man, Emmanuel. Christ, it was the appointment that was given him when God gave him the illuminated light after his first death. What do you mean his first death? I said it to you yesterday. You think John the Baptist, when John put Jesus in the water, he just baptized him and brought him back up? He drowned him to death. He sent Jesus to his judgment before his Lord in water. He rebirthed him. He sent him back into the womb. God judged him, and when he came out of the water, God sent a mark down and said, "This is my son." whom I have approved. Listen to him. Yeah, see, I clarify all the stuff y'all didn't understand. I clarify everything that y'all didn't understand about what's really going on, just to show you the fact that I didn't have to be there. My spirit that God put in me was there. I have the knowledge of all the things that you were wondering about because God granted it to me. I keep telling you, I'm not doing this for me. I can walk around this world right now. I'm gonna tell you what the truth is. See, this is the part you guys don't know. I didn't have to come back here and speak. I could have sat here on this earth, literally, and lived forever until the day of judgment, and then went and did what I needed to do. I'm perfect. And just to tell you, anybody want to test the theory, and a couple people did test it yesterday. There's no weapon forged by human hands that can ever conquer against me, because I stand with the Lord. I want to know how people can sit there and think that they're pulling the trigger at somebody, really trying to shoot at them, and they're wondering why the bullets ain't going nowhere. How the bullets ain't going nowhere. You think it's because of me? You think I'm the one stopping that? Nah, brother. I ain't stopping that. God's army that's with me stopping that. God's sitting there like, you really think I'm going to let you little people do something to my general? No, brother. You go and buy a car and you like your car, you put insurance on it so if something happens to it, you can get it fixed, right? So I'm going to say this and this is how I'm going to end this. I'm your insurance on life. It's your choice whether or not you pick the policy. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Rahmanirrahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim. Amin. Amin. Allah, most graceful, most merciful, all praise and glory be to him, Lord of the worlds, most graceful, most merciful, Master of the day of judgment. Thee alone do we seek for guidance, and thee alone do we worship, and thee alone do we seek for aid. Show us the straight path, the path of those who have enjoyed your guidance and your mercy, and not the path of those who have gone astray and incurred your wrath. I ask you, Allah, to show the way to these people's hearts, that they too can obtain everlasting life in the Savior that you have sent. And that all you ask of anybody is for them to put you first and for them to bring their jurisdiction into your court, so that you can be the judge between that which is right for their soul and that which is wrong for the preservation of their everlasting life, so that through your guidance and through your mercy that they will see the light. And I ask that you give me the ability to utilize the tools that you have given me, the powers that you have given me, to manifest that which you most want, so that they will see that I do not do my will, but I do the will of he who has sent me, that I am your servant, and that I gain nothing from anything that I do except for that which you have already bestowed upon me, which is the greatest gift I could ever have, and that is the relationship with my true Father. I want them to enjoy that relationship that I have with you in their daily life. And I ask that you grant them that blessing, as I also ask that you forgive them for everything they did previous to yesterday. And may it be your will, and may my will be your will, and your will be done. Amen.